Now, with new tanning trends taking over social media, young people are being warned against buying into potentially dangerous sunbed culture, with a recent study revealing 43% of 18 to 25-year-olds use them.
Carrie-Anne McDonald used sunbeds 3 times a week for 12 years and says the obsession to get the perfect tan has left her with permanent skin damage. She's had to have 18 moles removed from her body. And now the personal trainer is urging people to look after their skin. Carrie-Anne joins us now with consultant dermatologist Dr. Zainab Lafter. Good morning to both of you. Thanks for coming in. Carrie-Anne, how do you feel about sunbeds now? And looking back, do you just kind of think, oh, wish I'd never even gone there?
Well, if I could talk to my younger self, I would most definitely tell myself not to use it. But back in our day, when I started out in the fitness industry, it was all about looking well and having that sun-kissed glow, you know, and looking healthy. And, you know, you weren't normal if you weren't bronzed, you know. But going forward to where I am now, I do regret having used it so much over the time. As you can see here, my hands and my chest in particular. And like it does get a lot of comments, and people think that it's freckles, and it's not. Now, I was with my dermatologist 2 weeks ago, and he did the cryo treatment on it. And it can be very sensitive because the skin blisters. I could hardly even put my hands under the tap because it was stinging so much.
Well, when did you realise? I mean, look, I'm going to confess I've been to a tanning therapy. You've had to go a long time ago. When did you realise that it was bad for your skin, and how often were you doing it?
I was definitely doing it 3 times a week at least, maybe 20 minutes. But no, that wasn't every week, but a good lot of weeks, right? Because given that I'm so fair-skinned, it took a lot for my skin to tan. So I just felt I wasn't getting tanned enough or quickly enough. But it started coming out of my skin. I did my last holiday with the girls, and I came home with a mark on my leg, and it wouldn't heal. And then I discovered, after going to the doctor, it turned into an ulcer, and that was my first lesion removed. And shortly after that, then one appeared on my boob, and then I had to have another consultation. And they had to put the dye down into my armpit to check to see if that was cancerous, but thankfully it wasn't. It was then that I realised, oh, OK, it's time I had to stop using the beds. So all in all, in about maybe 12, maybe 15 years, I've been suffering with my skin. And I'm now 54, like.
And are there any other that you're worried about? So far, I mean, it's been, you describe as luck.
Yes.
But some are still under investigation.
Yes.
And you're still...
Yeah, I'm always going to be under investigation because it's still coming out in my skin. It's still, the skin is still repairing.
And so you live every day in the fear that one of these moles or lesions on your body might potentially be cancerous.
Yes.
Dr. Lafter, you know, I want to say that lots of people use sunbeds. You've heard it's part of young people's Instagram culture. Is there a safe way to use it? Is it moderation, or are they just bad in your view?
I think the majority of dermatologists would argue that sunbeds are not safe, and having a tan is actually a sign of skin damage caused by UV radiation. The research also supports it. You know, the research suggests that the risk of skin cancer increases with the number of sunbed use, and also age is also a significant factor. The International Agency for Cancer Research, who work with WHO, found that individuals who use sunbeds before the age of 35 can increase their risk of melanoma, which are a dangerous type of skin cancers.
So the Sunbed Association, they say, obviously, they have a vested interest, to be sure, but they said, no, there's benefits to getting vitamin D. There's research that says exposure to sunlight's very helpful. I just want to be clear, because there'll be parents of young people out there, other people that use sunbeds, going, my goodness, just had a senior dermatologist on Good Morning Britain saying that suntans aren't safe, and certainly there's no safe way of using a tanning bed. In other words, they're all dangerous. Is that your clear point?
So the British Association asked majority of dermatologists in the UK in a survey and found that 77% of dermatologists agree with banning the suntan because of the increased risk. The research suggests that even just one sunbed use can increase your risk of melanoma by 20% and also non-melanoma skin cancers. So the way to get vitamin D, just 10 minutes of being in sunlight will be good enough to get your vitamin D levels. And just practicing safe sun. There isn't any association with having vitamin D deficiency and, for example, using sunscreen. It's all about that cumulative damage. And as you have more UV radiation into your skin, the risk of skin cancers increases, as well as skin aging.
OK, and Carrie-Anne, I mean, when you look at the statistics, though, here we're saying 53% of 18 to 25-year-olds use sunbeds. It's obviously, even though people know about the risks, they still want to use them, don't they? How worried are you now you've lived through it, you've kind of got the damage to prove it, haven't you, about the number of people that still aren't heeding the warnings?
Yes. I suppose, when you're in your youth, you think you're invincible and nothing's going to happen to you, But it really isn't until later life that it comes at you. As I said, it has been coming at me now for the last 15 years, and I would have been a sun worshipper, lying out all day in the sun on holidays, and people used to remark on how I used to get scalded here. And I never really let it bother me at the time. But now, where I see where I am today, and I have to say, I commend all the younger people. When I see beautiful skin, I remark on it because I'm so jealous, because I see what I've done to my own skin. And if I can just bring awareness to especially the younger people, to be more mindful about their usage, to look after their skin, because it will affect you in later life.
I'm presuming that's your message to people out there taking the selfies, and yours as well, Dr. Lafter, that in your view, like many other consultant dermatologists, senior dermatologists, you think they should be banned altogether. I have to say, it's a pretty stark message. There is the counterpoint for the Sunbed Association, who said it's important to separate modern professional tanning salons which follow strict safety protocols from often unregulated practices of the past. Today's responsible sunbed sector complies with standards that include screening customers and rigorously enforcing age restrictions, skin type assessments and sessions limited to protect users.